2017 in broadcast media from Multimedia.
Yes.
However, you have featured in about 300 movies. So I'd just like to understand what makes you so passionate about being a voice actor, and how did you even discover that this is what you wanted to do?
Okay, first of all, I can say that I started doing, let's say, poetry. I started with poetry back in high school, that is St. Peter's School. And I used to go to nationals while doing the poetries, and I remember KIE used to record among the best poets that at that time, that is around 2009.
Oh.
They used to record us, and I don't know all those publications where they used to be shown on TV. Then when I joined Multimedia University, I grew interest, you know, in radio. So then while in radio, I began as a reporter, first of all, at Multimedia University Radio. Then the moment I used to voice, you know, the reports, people are saying, "Oh, Mtahala, you have a good voice. You can do for us promos, for example, commercial that used to be at that time, you know, and also, you know, the jingles and all those stuffs." So I think that's where I started voiceovers.
So interesting. I'd like to understand what it's like to spend a day in your shoes. What do you do from morning to evening? Is there any specific diet that you need to be on if you're surviving on your voice? Are there anything that is there anything that you avoid consuming?
Okay, on my side, you know, I don't take alcohol, you know, I don't take sugary stuffs, you know, I don't take, you know, coffee, tea.
So what do you take, brother?
Yeah. You know, sometimes I do say that, you know, these are just things that we found them, you know, and thought that they're necessary for us to take. It is necessary for us to take tea or to have coffee or something of sort, but it's not necessary for me, you know.
Okay, so take us through your diet for voice maintenance. You know, maybe someone at home is like, "Hiya, 300 movies? Goodness, this is an open market."
Basically, I don't have that special diet. I eat the normal foods that we take around, but most of the time I take a lot of water. That's what I do, because most of the time I spend in studio. Even right now, before I came here, by 4 I was in studio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, so I like studio so much. I do every time. Everybody who knows me, the first thing he'll talk about me is say, "Studio, what studio?" So that's the main thing. I'm known for studio. Every time I just like studio. My hobby is studio.
So what is this that you enjoy so much about the studio, being in the studio space?
You know, I collaborate with 2 studios so far. I collaborate with a studio called Tari Studios and Alka Productions.
Yes. So
that is under the label my name. I have a label myself, but I collaborate with those studios. My label is The Voice in a Voice. So most of the time when I'm in studio, I like voicing, you know, commercials, you know, documentaries. I do love and inspiration voiceovers.
Love and inspiration voiceovers. Those are my favorite. Can you give us just a taste? You know, just for our morning, people are waking up, it's raining, and maybe people just want to smile today.
Okay, perhaps let me say there's one that has been trending for the past 2 weeks.
All right.
It's called I Found It in You, that I voiced. It was a freestyle and people loved it. It goes like this. When you feel like crying, just call me. When you feel like there is nobody around you, just do one thing. Just call me. Because you're a blissful touch of my heart, and I love you so much. You're my angel, and there's nothing I can explain, and there's no beauty that can be above you. I love you.
Hey, I love you. I wish I could do it.
Okay, you got me off guard. Yeah.
No, but it's good. It's good. I'd like to hear some of your projects, because 300 movies. I'd like to understand. You just finished school like literally last year. However, though you've been at this for...
I graduated last year, but I finished school in 2016. So.
Okay, more or less. But this thing you started in 2013. I'd like to understand, that was even before you graduated. How did you put yourself out there as a voiceover artist? How did you get all these jobs? By the time you got to 300 movies, someone is like, "Ah, yeah, okay." How did you market yourself, basically? How did you put yourself out there?
Okay, I remember back in campus, I used to do commercials, and the moments I cannot say that I'm the best, voiceover artist, or I can brag to be the best voiceover artist. But the things that I do, how I interact with people just tend to love my voiceovers and what I do. So I remember there was a time we used to, I used to have a friend. I have a friend, by the way, who called Naftali. He used to do animations.
Oh,
So that was 2013 back in campus. So he just told me, Mtala, you can feature in one of my animation, because they wanted to do he wanted to do a commercial for this school, advertising the Multimedia University School. The university. So I featured in one of the animations as one of the main characters. Then after that, I started doing freelance. And the moment I started doing freelance, doing movies, just random animations, even I can't remember them, I can't count them. Then the richer time, my lecturer called me, Simhatia Catherine, called me, Mtala. I said, Mtala, you can do one of the voiceover. There's a company they're looking for, voice artists. So just go there, try your luck and see what you can do. So I joined the company called the African Voices Dubbing Company. That's one of the, is the biggest, dubbing company for movies in this country. So that's where I can say I really started doing movies. Then after that, that's where I can't remember the real numbers that I did for that company, but I remember I did series, around 4 series. I did animations and movies. But when I decided, like, Tala, I had some limitations in that company, because I thought, like, this
limitations.
Not like limitation on my side. I thought, like, okay, it's a good company, it has nurtured me, but I need to do more, because there's so much there's so many things that you could do, but I wanted to do on my own. So I say, okay, now you nurtured me up to this point, let me continue with my work. So I started doing freelance voiceovers. Even I hope you know voices.com. Voices.com is an online, it is an online platform where voice actors around the globe gather to do voiceovers. So you can go to voices.com and check some of my works that I work. I'm a 5-star voiceover artist.
All right.
Yeah, so I've reached
but
the
you
5-star.
don't say.
Yeah. So I've been able to work with one of the best, voice actors in the world, like Dave Kirby, Jamie Diamond from the UK. Those few that have been international recognized voice actors that I've ever worked
Now
with.
that you have mentioned very well the 5-star, can I ask you about your most difficult voiceover job that you ever did? Was it a film, and what character was this you were playing, and why was that the most challenging one?
Okay, when I'm given a character of a drunk person, because
because you've never been.
I'm not very good at that.
Okay.
And when you go to commercials, most of the time, I do say I'm a visualizer myself. I do write script for commercials, and sometimes you have clients who come with a script, then they force you to be, they don't want you to advise them how the script can go by, how the voiceover is supposed to be done.
Or them not allowing you to put your input.
So you're like forcing another character in you, something that is not you, you're not your true self. So those are some of the challenges that I do say.
I would really like to hear this voiceover now that you've mentioned that was the most difficult
there's so
one.
many. Okay, on audio recordings, like the one that I've gone on air around I think 20, but when I say the whole voiceovers that I've done, there are more than 3,000 voiceovers for audio voiceovers. Yeah.
So you can't exactly pinpoint and say which one is exactly the most difficult.
Sometimes even I don't remember my voice.
What about the best one? Which one got the most publicity or the most appreciation that you did that you can let us know about?
Most of the time, they just love voiceovers, but they don't know I'm the one who voiced them. Love and inspiration. They go about, training. But the one that for the past 2 weeks, the one that I've just told you, I found it in you. Voiceover is the one that has been training for more, so that's what I've seen. Because most of the time I don't watch TV so much. Most of the time I'm just be told, I heard your voice on TV, something blah blah blah, and so yes, I don't follow much how people say that which one is the best. I cannot say which one is the best because most of the time I'm just in studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I'd like to understand now that your industry, well, it's premiering here on Why in
Yeah.
the Morning Entrepreneurship Tuesday, and I'd just like to understand what are some of the challenges that people are facing in your particular line of work? Yeah.
Okay, that is a very important and significant question. So far in the voiceover industry, we have got challenges. You know, that's why I came with this initiative that we need to start a union as voice actors. As we are speaking, we are on the process of registering the first ever, voice actors union in Africa, because I've consulted and with different partners and voice actors. For those that we have ever worked with, I've worked, with a voice actor from Tanzania, Uganda, Nigeria, Canada.
So you want to form a union for East
Yeah.
Africa or just Kenya?
Yeah, but we have got a challenge because when doing the consultation at the Register of Trade Unions in HIF buildings, we were told for now they can cater for only Kenya. So I say, let me first of all, we have got our own challenges as Kenya first of all, because
Okay.
there are so many talents in the voiceover industry, and there are so many voice-over actors who have done so many voiceovers, even more than me. Even I cannot say even I've done half of their work. But the way the pace, the challenges that they go through.
Yeah, those pays, that's a very common challenge I
Yeah.
hear. But to be a voiceover artist, what is interesting is you don't really need any startup capital. You just need your voice and you need to network,
Yeah,
from what I've
and
understood.
you-
But I'd like to understand how sustainable is it? Like now you've said there are issues of pays, and
Yeah.
how do you know what you're worth as a voiceover artist?
Okay, before I go to that point, I would like to say that voiceover actors who are independent, like for me, I'm working for my label, The Voice in a Voice, and I'm independent. But I'm looking for that aspect that there are other voiceover actors who work for companies that are paid on a monthly basis. So it's not about me, This is something that I've said I'm gonna sacrifice myself because I've faced a lot of confrontations, faced a lot of threats from people.
Threats?
But, yeah, because I'm serious about the voiceover industry. By the way, voice actors are suffering, and I'm very serious about that. That's why I moved.
Why
around.
would anybody be threatening a voice artist?
Because there's some of the people I can say the voiceover industry is a multi-million industry in Kenya. But those that get the big share are those for example the brokers, the companies, but the voiceover actors are suffering a lot.
Oh, so you're saying that voiceover artists, they're being taken advantage of by brokers.
Yeah, and it's very serious.
So that's the goal of the union. You want to
That's
protect.
the goal of the union,
Okay.
to help the voice-over actors, to set standards for voice actors. That you're supposed, the rights of voice actors, and also to help to nurture voice actors, train voice actors. That's the main thing, the main essence of starting this union. Yeah. So we have got challenges as the voiceover actor, as voice actors, and we are calling upon. We have got very big voice actors in this country, but with me, I can say I'm a junior voice actor.
You're junior.
Yeah.
300 movies later, you are still junior.
The reason is that I started around just 5 years ago. Yeah, there are those who started like around even 30 years ago in this country, and
Okay.
they should be the ones supporting us and taking a step so that we fight for the rights of voice actors, because they understand the voiceover industry even better than me. Yeah. So this initiative, I just took like a junior voice actor. Say, there's nobody who has fought for rights of voiceover actors in this country or East Africa or in Africa, and being able, to avail different voice of actors from around. I've availed around voiceover actors from 10 countries.
10 countries.
Yeah, so far.
Wow.
And we are so far those who are willing to join our new union when when we are done with the process and doing the registration. We are so far. I've got 64 voice actors. Leave alone the 38 voice actors that are in my label. Yeah.
Speaking of those that you're saying that you've mentioned that are part of the union or the union that you're trying to form, you
Yeah.
also mentioned that you're training that you are training a few people under
Yeah.
yourself on how they
Yeah.
can become voiceover artists as
You
well.
know, there are so many people interested in the voiceover industry,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, there are, you know, many people. There are few people who are willing to help or nurture them so that they become, you know, also good voiceover actors, or they also join the industry. So I said, with the little knowledge I have in the voiceover industry, let me share with, you know, my brothers and sisters who are interested in the voiceover industry. And as I'm talking right now, in collaboration with the two studios that I told you, that's Taro Studios and Alka Productions, training 38 voice actors.
Wow,
Yeah,
38 voice actors.
yeah.
Interesting. I'd like to understand, once this union you get your enough members, what
Yeah.
are you hoping that the government will do to make it easier for voiceover artists?
So that was one of the initiatives that I'm trying to do, the consultations and trying to push. You know, we see not only the voice acting industry, by the way. I'm talking about the showbiz industry. Even in Kenya, we have got challenges. But let me first of all deal with my part. First of all, the voiceover industry, and see how we can, you know, extend our hand to even the music industry. I can say the music industry in Kenya is pathetic. Artists are poor because I spend in the same studios that I do voiceovers. I spend with, you know, artists, music, you know, musicians. You
Yes. There's a lot of struggle,
know, they're
yes.
struggling. Even people, even some of them, you know, even when you call him or her to come in studio, even he or she cannot come because even she has not even eaten. She doesn't have a place to sleep. She even doesn't have even fare to reach this place. So those are some of the challenges that we do face in the showbiz industry in Kenya, and that's what I'm trying to fight for at the moment.
Very interesting.
Because we have been talking, you know, that there is this thing that has been trending all the time, that, you know, Kenyan music, you know, people, I don't know, artists are not giving, they don't have content. Let me tell you, there is one thing that we face, you know, there's one problem that we face. Is that there is a lot of content in studio. Right now, if I can take you to studio, there are a lot of, you know, artists. But the problem is that it's not the content, but the problem is that we are entertaining nonsense in our media platforms. Because
What do you mean by entertaining nonsense?
no, if you say an artist doesn't produce, you know, good music, then there is somebody else in studio who is struggling and produces content. There's a lot of content, I tell you. And if producers, you know, in media stations start by doing their research, you know, in these small studios, you'll be surprised. There's a lot of content, music, I tell you.
I was even going to ask you what you plan to diversify into, but I think I'm starting to get a bit of a clue.
It's a very serious thing that when I hear it on TV and, you know, media station, people saying that Kenya has no content, I just feel like shouting and, you know, yelling, because of that.
It annoys you.
Yeah, it annoys me. And we okay, so let me like request the producers, you know, and you know, people who have got, you know, engagements in media station, try and do research, because these people in studios, they sleep hungry, they don't have fare, they don't have, you know, hata kufika hapa hivi kabisa, umwite kabisa, useme okay, nataka nakuleta hapa, kutoka kwake kwa nyumba hadi kufika hapa itakuwa shida kabisa. Nimekutana hivyo saizi kule studio, wengine ni kusaidia, tunasaidia tu, like hata sisi tuko nayo, lakini ile kidogo tuko nayo inabidi tuwapatie kabisa.
Do you have an interest in the music industry? Because you've talked a lot about struggling artists. Is it that you plan to be a musician?
No. I don't have any interest okay, I don't have any interest of being a musician, but you know, these are people that, you know, I interact with them every day, every single day. Even from here, I'm going to studio. Hao ndio tunakutana nao kila siku.
Oh, so these are the people that you tend to network with a lot. So, okay, very interesting. I do wish you the best of luck when it comes to that. But 153 main character roles. What's the secret?
Okay, there's no secret.
There has to be a secret.
Okay, the secret is that being able to, you know, trying to learn new things every day, trying to, you know, you know, when, you know, learn and you know, learn to be corrected, try to, you know, also follow steps for those who have done, who have done well. Try to also engage them to see what are the things that they're doing so that they perform well in the industry. So that's what I try to do every single day. I try to learn every day. I like people who criticize me every day and say me and tell me that, Mtala, you can do this and improve on that, something like this. That's why every day I do say, mi spendi mtu mwenye ananisifu kila wakati.
So you appreciate correction and a bit of critique.
I love correction because
every
time I try, to perfect my work.
And being open-minded, because you said you love correction. The secret is appreciating correction and also being open-minded to try new things. Very interesting. Now, there's one question I found very peculiar, but I think it's worth a try. Maybe I should ask you. What time of the day do you work best?
No. I think the best time for me to work at night.
At night?
Yeah.
Why is it at night?
Because there are little interruptions. It's quiet. I concentrate a lot at night.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can concentrate a lot at night.
Yeah.
What about in relation to your voice? As in the end of the day, when you've spoken so much and your voice is exhausted, how about morning?
Okay, let me tell you about voiceovers. When I want to do movies, for example, this for Bollywood and other stuffs, I prefer in the morning, But when I want to do commercials and love voiceovers, I prefer at night. Yeah.
Interesting. You prefer at night. Well, there's a question that has come in, and now that you do love and inspiration quotes, how are the ladies reacting to you?
Okay, ladies are my main fans.
Your main database are women. Interesting.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, but most of the time they hear my voice, then when they see me, ni wewe kweli?
So that's another challenge that you failed to mention. They were expecting Prince Charming. But beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
No, they most of the time they do think it's a white guy or something or somebody.
They think it's a white person.
Yeah, so
my God.
I'm just a Kenyan. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's about time we conclude Entrepreneurship Tuesday. It's been so lit to have you here. But I would be very unfair to my fans if I didn't allow them to hear you sign out for Why in the Morning in your voice. And you can say, this is Entrepreneurship Tuesday, Why in the Morning, I'm George Mutala. Or you have been watching Why in the Morning, I'm George Mutala, Entrepreneurship Tuesday.
Okay,
But then we to Hilda Wadidi, yeah.
Okay, good morning. My name is Mtala George with Hilda in studio, and you have been watching Entrepreneurship Tuesday with Hilda and me, Mtala George. Keep locked.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, do not touch that dial. It has been raining, so make sure you keep warm today. And now that you've had the matatus are back, so all of you who decided you wanted to stay home because of matatus, you'll be in trouble. Can you go to work? All right. Anyway, have a good day and take care of yourself. See you tomorrow.